Tonight's episode of The Full Story is proudly brought to you by Rafferty's Tavern, The Flying Horse Bar, Kerman's Hamburgers, the Warrnambool RSL, All Seasons Nursery, Madden's Lawyers, SHB Financial Services, and Hockey Southwest.
I suppose it's the unpredictability of it. Like a cancer diagnosis comes and slaps you in the face. The world doesn't stop.
What happens now? Where do I go? What's your reason for getting up in the morning now, you know?
Brain cancer accounts for the most loss of life across all of the cancers.
Because the funding is so limited, the awareness is so limited, and finding support networks has been really, really challenging.
Colin Speedie Hodgson sadly lost his battle in February this year.
Dad, what an incredible life you lived. And I hope your cruise to heaven is as good as a burnout in your Monaro, with petrol fumes and headlights guiding your way.
Despite the heartbreak of a terminal diagnosis, there is a special organisation here to help.
Peace of Mind foremost is a charity, and it's bigger than me. It's always been about connection and community in the brain cancer space. It's not a health service, it's actually about people connecting and being supported.
Tonight on The Full Story.
And this guy, Jonathan, he visits people in the area like once a month, and they're not getting funding for this. They're basically doing it on nothing.
Fulfilling a promise to a lovable local larrikin to help tell the world about peace of mind.
My beginning point is to kind of get the ground beneath their feet. This is what's going on. This is how you understand in layman's terms, in human terms, not medical speak. This is what's going on.
And how it helped this local family navigate the mostly uncharted waters of brain cancer.
It's been really tricky, yeah. And accepting that diagnosis and having someone to walk through that with us and help us in managing our grief.
Everything was just so jumbled.
And how they need financial support to ensure their work can continue.
We've had to actually cut our retreats this year. So normally we do it as a full weekend. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This year's been really tough.
How we can make a huge difference to the overall operation of this special organisation.
Peace of Mind Foundation, you just type that in and it's quite clearly at the top there, donate now.
Hello and welcome to the program. Some of you may be surprised to know that May is Brain Cancer Awareness Month, more commonly known as Grey May. Although it's rare, brain cancer accounts for the most loss of life across every other cancer. In fact, it's also the largest killer of children. Statistically speaking, brain cancer only makes up 2% of the cancer population. About 2,000 people are diagnosed or living with brain cancer in Australia. Despite having the best medical minds, and not much, but some funding working on research to find a cure, the tragedy of a brain cancer diagnosis is it's terminal. While we have dedicated research teams working day in and out to find a cure, the reality is we can't expect one in the near future. So, what do people diagnosed with this horrible disease and their families do in the meantime? What happens right now, tomorrow, and even next week? It's a question many are faced with and often left without any answers to. This week we bring you the story about the Hodgson family who were not only dealt the cards of a brain cancer diagnosis, but during COVID. Speedy Hodgson was in Melbourne at St Vincent's and his family, daughter Victoria, were here in Warrnambool and found out via FaceTime that Speedy had 12 months left to live. The family were left with no answers, huge amounts of information, but none of it made any sense. They navigated the uncharted waters of brain cancer with some great clinical support, but the human side, the personal impact, left a lot to be desired. That was until the Peace of Mind Foundation entered their lives. Jonathan Muller is the only dedicated brain cancer support worker in Australia, And the Peace of Mind Foundation is a small, mostly volunteer-led charity which is a victim of its own circumstance. It's in so much demand, but only receives a fraction of the philanthropic support it needs to guarantee it continues to operate each year. Speedie's legacy is about sharing he and his family's story in the hope that we, as Southwest Victorians, are inspired to help this amazing organisation continue long into the future.
I'm Speedie. I was admitted to hospital on the 7th of September 2021 after a few seizures that day and in the months prior. Did a CAT scan and said there was something there on the left-hand side of the brain. 7 days later, in the middle of COVID, finally got transported to Melbourne. Had surgery 2 days later where they were able to remove all of the tumour.
Meet Speedie and Victoria Hodgson, a Warrnambool family who is now part of the 2% of Australia's cancer population affected by brain cancer. Only their story was so much more unfair. Speedie's diagnosis was delivered during COVID. He was alone at St Vincent's Hospital in Melbourne. His family 3 hours away on a FaceTime call.
We had arranged a FaceTime appointment with the neurosurgeon who had removed the tumour. We were just told that Dad had 12 months. That was really difficult to hear over sort of a phone in one hand and my dad 4 hours away.
So I had that taken away, Vic had that taken away. My partner had that taken away because we were left to our own devices, I suppose. Yeah, so that was difficult. It was like a comedy of errors because Vic and my partner couldn't be together because there could only be one person there. We had that earth tremor while I was in there.
That was the morning of the diagnosis.
And at one stage I really thought I was going to die. And then the protesters are outside and we got 45 helicopters going around.
It was insane.
It was so unreal.
And so trying to transport him home that day after just being diagnosed and told that we had 12 months, getting him home was just like, yeah, insane.
The story of Speedie's diagnosis can now be looked at with a smile and a laugh, something that this family did with each other regularly. But in that moment, this family faced so many unknowns. What did terminal brain cancer actually mean? What does the future hold? Not to mention the fact that life as they knew it was about to become completely different.
Things weren't going to be the same from then on. Yeah, he was still Dad, but in terms of sort of treating a brain tumour, there aren't a lot of treatment options. So I suppose we were given a bit of a template and told that this is sort of the routine. Due to there being no cure for this, it was just something that they do, and we hope for a little bit longer. With glioblastoma, it was explained to us a little bit like it's an octopus with its tentacles. So whilst they were able to remove as much as they possibly could, this is something that they just can't see. And there's so many tentacles that they will never ever be able to get.
You were at a loss to know what to do first, making sure your will's in order and medical paperwork and power of attorneys.
Yeah, trying to get disability support with Centrelink, getting carers allowance, total permanent disability payouts. There was income protection, there was withdrawing his superannuation, and all of those things were just, was really, really heavy.
If you think this is progressing fast, well, you would be right. the ground does move really fast after a brain cancer diagnosis. The problem is, the people it affects are left with myriads of information and end up with more questions than answers. The other element left hanging in the balance is, there is still a person or people at the centre of this. And often in the time-poor clinical world, feelings and emotions tend to get left behind.
Dad was coming off some pretty heavy steroids, and it was causing him to sort of hallucinate. And we just sat in emergency. We were there for quite a while. And I just recall saying to the nurse, look, is this what I need to expect from my dad now? So I suppose these were things that were missed in conversations that we could have had we have been together in Melbourne.
It just happens so quickly, like you leave school, you get your first job, you work for 50 years and then it stops. What happens now? Where do I go? That was very hard, because suddenly there wasn't a reason to get up in the morning to go to work. It wasn't uncommon to work 2 and 3 jobs. To suddenly be cut off from that, where do you go? What's your reason for getting up in the morning now, you know? That type of thing. And it just changes your whole outlook. That they've taken something away, and you sometimes you some days your memory's not that good. You get tired. You get bitchy. And for these guys, they don't know how I'm going to react to things either.
I suppose it's the unpredictability of it, isn't it? Like, you sort of go about your day, and that's the thing, like a cancer diagnosis comes and slaps you in the face, and you are not only caring, but you're also running a household and you're working full time, and the world doesn't stop. Getting a phone call to say that Dad's had a seizure, or those kinds of things where you've just got to drop and run, yeah, it's heavy, it takes its toll. And I think, yeah, if I didn't have the right supports, if we didn't have the right supports in place, then yeah, this journey may not be what it has been so far.
Brain cancer makes up just 2% of Australia's cancer population. As a result, resources are often hard to find. And because of that, the human toll is sometimes forgotten about in some aspects of the clinical space. Brain cancer is a rapid and aggressive illness, and families are often left with information overload. To make matters worse, time is against them. That's where an organisation called Peace of Mind steps in, when doctors and clinicians step back.
Peace of Mind foremost is a charity, and it's bigger than me. So I'm the only one in this role, which is a brain cancer support worker or navigator. But it's a volunteer-led organisation with a few paid employees, and it's always been about connection and community in the brain cancer space. It's not a health service, it's actually about people connecting and being supported.
Jonathan Muller is Australia's first and only brain cancer support worker. Despite being a trained nurse and having 10 years' experience in specialist palliative care, he likes to describe himself as more of a friendly neighbour, a friend to help families and households find a new normal for life with brain cancer. For over 45 people living in the southwest, he is the other person at the end of the phone, a guiding light for people like Vic and Speedy, desperate to find answers.
I always have difficulty articulating what it is. What do you do, Jonathan? I'm not 100% sure what it is. I provide support in whatever form it's necessary. But there's medical, there's legal, there's financial, there's the psychosocial dynamic, there's the intensely personal meaning-making, existential, spiritual understandings that are going on. And I try and engage, and then there's the practical. Yeah, who's cooking tonight? Have you got food in the fridge? Who's mowing the lawns, etc. And so I try at least to identify all of those major domains and get a sense for where we need to start working, and then try and tick off the main domains as we go and support them, try and get them on their own feet in that place. But if not, well, either I or I'll get someone who can help you get that stuff sorted so that you can continue on and don't get stuck or being handicapped in the space where you can't be engaged in living.
We were linked in to Jonathan from our cancer-linked nurse at the Warrnambool base hospital through Shana Purcell, and she just kind of mentioned it to me one day and said, look, I think this could be really important for you and may just help you and support you. We got a phone call, I think, from Jonathan, and he just said, hey, just reaching out, I'm sort of coming your way next week. Are you around Wednesday? I'll pop in. And it was literally like that. He knocked at the door and waltzed in, and yeah, it's felt like home, and he's made us feel like somebody understands.
And he's also become part of the family, like a family member too.
After the break,
Because the funding is so limited, the awareness is so limited, and finding support networks has been really, really challenging.
why peace of mind is filling a huge gap for families touched by brain cancer.
You've got usually very good clinical teams, but the rest of life is just left, just dormant over here. To get people in beside you there to kind of work through that stuff has been really impactful.
They're someone I go to when I can't find the answer, or I can't find perhaps the comfort that I'm looking for.
And how their work continues right through the bereavement phase.
Super important, and not many people pay attention to it, and they just sort of fob it off at the end. If you're having a complicated bereavement, then you get some specialists involved, but most people are just left to fend for themselves.
Then later,
It's threadbare. It can be billions of dollars, a single drug, from research phase into the market. But geez, just like $100,000 in this space to have such an enormous impact.
why this amazing organisation is often on the brink of collapse.
We kind of run, the classic small charity shoestring budget that's always on the point of collapse. And so it would seem every few months we're, oh gee, can we continue?
And this guy, Jonathan, he visits people in the area like once a month, and they're not getting funding for this. They're basically doing it on nothing.
And what we can do to help.
We are really dependent upon families just giving money or community fundraising events. But to give you some sort of sense of it, when we run a weekend retreat, to do a weekend might cost $25,000.
When the full story returns.
The Flying Horse is more than just a pub. It's the perfect spot to kick back with friends or family, indulge in a delicious meal from the new menu and wood-fired kitchen. Celebrate in one of their multiple function rooms. Catch up with mates in the sports bar or TAB. Grab a slab from the Thirsty Camel bottle shop. There's even a courtesy bus. Plus, don't miss Locals Night every Thursday night with food and drink specials, live music and more. For the perfect venue, it's got to be the Flying Horse, of course.
Come on, Seller Dodger. Come on. Get up there. Yes, Seller Dodger. Go. No.
Kerman's fixes everything. Back a winner this May with Kerman's Hamburgers.
Get the peace of mind you deserve with SHB's Small Business Advisory. They'll review all aspects of your business to help you achieve your business goals while paying minimal tax. If you're ready to take your business or business idea to the next level, make an appointment with one of their accountants today. And the best part? This service is a flat $300 and is tax deductible with no obligation to be an ongoing client. Call SHB today or book online now.
If you've been injured, make the call. Find out if you have a claim. Madden's Lawyers is the region's most experienced injury compensation firm. Madden's Lawyers. Make the call.
we as a community are extremely generous when it comes to donating money. Sometimes to a local family, sometimes to local organisations helping put food on the table. Most of the time, it's for research to help find a cure for a terminal illness. But while the best minds in the world are doing what they can to find a cure, what happens until then? Peace of Mind is a charity that helps people right now. People and families who have been given a terminal brain cancer diagnosis.
How did it start? When did it start? And how's it got to where it's got to?
Yeah. Beck, or Rebecca Mallet, who started it almost 8 years ago. Her brother's fiance or partner at the time was training as to be a radiologist technician. Thought it would be a good experience to go through the machine and see what it's like to have a scan done. Went through, they found a mass in her brain, and that started their own process, which ran over a number of years. It was enormously difficult for them going through that process, just the absence of primarily understanding and support. So that inspired Beck and her brother initially to go, geez, we need to change this, at least in Geelong, let's kind of make some level of connection and understanding support.
Your dealings with Vic and Speedy, when you first met this family, like any family, how were they? Mostly shock.
So mostly things are moving really quickly in terms of diagnosis and surgery and a whole bunch of appointments. And most of them go, I've got a brain cancer, I know it's bad. The family members around going, yeah, I've been on Google. My beginning point is to kind of get the ground beneath their feet. This is what's going on. This is how you understand in layman's terms, in human terms, not medical speak. This is what's going on. This is what cancer is. This is the little malfunction that's happening. This is why we do surgery, this is why we do radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and this is how it goes forward.
Unfortunately for the Hodgson family, they had not long finished the overwhelming task of organising Speedie's affairs. A particularly difficult task for Vic, who is an only child. Right from the onset of Speedie's diagnosis in the middle of the pandemic, this family was virtually on its own and desperate to find some guiding light to help find the way forward.
Having Jonathan in our corner has been a breath of fresh air. It's been really tricky, and accepting that diagnosis and having someone to walk through that with us and help us in managing our grief.
It takes a load off your mind now, but everything was just so jumbled and you didn't know where the end was, I suppose.
It accumulates.
Yeah.
And I suppose Jonathan's been able to simplify all of these things and explain things to us in terms that we can sort of comprehend and understand. And I think there's only so much Googling at 3 a.m. you can do. I suppose with brain cancer there being no cure, the things you Google are quite morbid. So Jonathan has been phenomenal in trying to sort of unpack that and help us manage and help us cope.
How did you get sought after by Peace of Mind? How did they come across you?
Yeah. Beck runs retreats, and a good friend of her, Melanie Davies, is a nurse who I worked alongside with as well. And so she was always telling me about Peace of Mind, going, this is a really cool organisation, you should become involved. And I think I turned up to one of the men's retreats for that. And they were doing pie in the sky, thinking, oh, one day maybe we could have a paid employee. And if we get some money, would you be interested? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm in. And so finally they went to the Hospice Foundation, and who generously backed at least a 2-year plan. And I was part-time, and so I came in part-time and just still working, doing the palliative care gig. And but it was a sort of a no-brainer. As soon as they got the money, they came and said, "Are you still keen?" I'm like, hell yeah. We just sat down.
How long ago was that? How many years?
That's 3 years now.
Like you say, it's a largely volunteer-based organisation. Well, it is very much a volunteer-based organisation, Peace of Mind. And in order to do that, what you just said, and protect those families in the now, those that are actually going through this right now, in terms of philanthropic support, how does it look?
Although it's not, I don't look at the books, I know that we kind of run, the classic small charity shoestring budget that's always on the point of collapse. And so it would seem every few months we're, oh gee, can we continue? Yeah? Or do we have to just completely cut that service? It's like this all the time. One of the difficulties is to submit to the government and the health budget for money, which would be consistent money and perhaps a larger chunk of money, would most likely turn us into another health provider, and that's not our interest, because there's good clinical teams out there already, there's good nursing services, and our understanding is that corner of the market is probably reasonably well achieved. But what we do is not taken into account, and it's not another health service. It's actually a
more personal.
And I guess it's probably what health services often talk about: holistic, person-centered care. I think that we're really exemplars of that, from having worked in the medical field and understanding, certainly in a palliative care space, which is all about the whole person. It inevitably actually just tends to be very medical. Symptomology, next blood test, tell me about how you're physically going. Yeah. And so that real practical support, like who's mowing the lawn? Are the kids all right? Oh my goodness, your whole relationship has now changed because your roles are different now. Yeah, you're the carer of your husband. Yeah, that's a complete reorganisation of the family dynamic, so that it has the person really at the centre and the family collectively all in it together, and ideally the community too, so that that sort of layers of separation actually try and do the whole thing together. Yeah, try and bring the whole thing together.
Since Peace of Mind was established, its profile has grown, and from humble beginnings, Jonathan now supports families from Geelong right through to the South Australian border. It's the only organisation of its kind in Australia to help brain cancer patients and their families with one-on-one personal support. The first step is accepting the help.
Jonathan, just off the cuff there.
Friday.
Was it Friday?
Yeah.
He messaged me, how you going, mate? Just touching bases, you doing all right? Yeah. And just, he'll do that. He's done that more than once, just a hell of a nice bloke.
One of the things Speedy said in his interview was, you became a mate, you became a friend. You would send him a text message every now and then just saying, hey mate, how you doing? Yeah. You know what I mean? And he just thought that was invaluable.
Yeah. It's all in the detail, right? So you can do big things. You can be there at a crisis point. I was there when Speedy had a big seizure on the men's retreat. He had a big seizure and stuff, and everyone starts to freak out. Oh my God, what's happening? And you can have an impact in that sense. But mostly it's in the little details where you just flick a little text, or you phone out, Speedy, what's cooking? And it's the everyday.
They were one family, and I think Speedy was one patient that was fully willing to just go, here, let's deal with it head on, and let's take it on the chin. And that, like you say, everyone's different. But how you say sometimes it takes them a while to warm. They were pretty much there straight away.
Yes, they were. Yeah. I think that was Speedy's super strength. Is that I think he quickly identified that it was bigger than him, and you'd have to do it together. And so it was like, okay, how do we form a team? Clearly I got Vic, I got my wife, got my family. Oh, yeah, Jonathan, you're in the team. Get the Guernsey on and let's go. And so there was a sense of doing it like this. So that really works. That works when you do it like this. When they do this and they're like, no, I'm a little island over here. It doesn't work so good.
Yeah. Peace of Mind's mission statement is brain cancer support here and now. According to Jonathan, there is no known timeline to find a cure for brain cancer. Right now, it just can't be fixed. And naturally, some people don't like to hear that. But what people can do is continue to live life to the fullest, despite having a dire prognosis.
People love stuff that can be fixed. Okay, and maybe it can, and maybe it will. It will. It's a matter of time, but it really can be decades away still. So it is currently a non-solvable situation. And what we're trying to champion is a sense of like, we all come into the world. We've all got limited time. So let's make the best of it, and let's there is always a lot to be done, even when it seems like we're out of options. There's a lot that life just has a way of keeps on showing up.
Yep.
And so how do you find a way for people to still remain engaged, feel like a human, feel like a husband or a wife or a kid or a grandparent, and continue in your family role and in your community role right the way through. I think that's of key importance, and it doesn't matter whether you've got a diagnosis or you don't, but in this case, it's really crucial. It's like a pretty short time frame, a lot of change, and a lot of symptomology, a lot of deficits, a lot of limitations that get imposed upon people in their lives.
If you sit back and let it swallow you up, no one's going to win. You've got to have a focus. I'm lucky enough to, I don't know what you'd call it. It's
passion.
Yeah. With old cars, I've got a couple of old Chevs there that I've got at home that I've built up over the years. One of the many, and it's that sort of keeps you going. You push through, and once you're out there, you've I suppose you've distanced yourself from.
It's a distraction.
Yeah.
Jonathan and Peace of Mind's key focus is the human space, making sure people like Speedie with a prognosis of 12 months don't just make that time all a medical journey. He believes the clinical side of a terminal illness can at times be dehumanising, and it's his role to make sure the human space isn't overtaken by the medical side. To find a balance, to make sure however long a person has left, they can just keep on living life to the fullest.
From having been on both sides of the fence, I'm acutely aware to who I was and to the clinicians still in the field that you are time poor, and that even the clinical setting sets a certain tone that is not so human. And so you're up against it from the get-go, right? You've got these kind of like 10-minute kind of drop in, let's try and chew through like all this information. And the benefit and the luxury that I consider that I have is being in people's home environment, their personal space, at their own time, and I can dedicate, often for first visits, I'll easily allocate 2 hours for the first visit, as opposed to, maybe 35 minutes in a clinical setting, best,
Yeah. Or a FaceTime call.
That's right. And so that you're not a clinician in the space, you are someone that's almost like the neighbour and providing whatever it is we need on that day. Physical symptoms that day, needing an explanation of treatment the next day. Geez, what do we do with the finances? What happens, at this point, can I access my superannuation? Geez, we haven't got a will and we need to get one sorted out. What's medical power of attorney? How do we access some help from the local council to get the house cleaned? All that information, all that sort of, the things that come up incidentally, I can be available to and answer.
Quite often I think there's someone I go to when I can't find the answer, or I can't find perhaps the comfort that I'm looking for. So quite often I'll explain it as a bit of a parachute, so that when I'm falling or when we're falling, we feel like things are sort of out of control and out of our hands. They're there with a parachute to catch us, and they bring us back.
After the break,
we've had to actually cut our retreats this year. So normally we do it as a full weekend. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This year's been really tough.
when a low budget catches up to a growing charity.
We're a victim of our success currently. Beck put out a little email saying we've serviced maybe 700 folks in Australia in the last few years.
And how Peace of Mind's work doesn't stop after a loved one succumbs to brain cancer.
But most of all, from the very depth of our hearts, we wish to thank the most wonderful team at the Peace of Mind Foundation.
Then later,
you've still got to come down and visit these people. You've still got to come down and make sure they're okay. There's got to be more onus on that.
It would be nice if there was.
Helping raise money so Peace of Mind can continue to expand its growing workload.
Peace of Mind Foundation, you just type that in and it's quite clearly at the top there, donate now.
When the full story returns.
Delicious meals, kids' playroom, function room, big screen TV, sports, live music, courtesy bus. Rafferty's Tavern has something for the whole family. Become a Hump member for special discounts at the Thirsty Camel drive-through bottle shop. Whatever the occasion, make it memorable at Rafferty's Tavern.
There's a new game in town and it's called Hockey Fives. Hockey Fives is five-a-side hockey on a smaller field. It's fast, fun and high scoring. It suits all ages and fitness levels and it's easy to learn. Come and try Hockey Fives at a free clinic any Saturday morning at 9 till the end of June at the Hockey Centre in Albert Park. If you want to get fit in a fun social setting, make Hockey Fives your new favourite game. Sign up for any free Saturday clinic at hockeysouthwest.org.au.
Fitz Media Live is now available to download on both the Apple Store and Google Play. Access local programs and content at the click of a button on your devices. Get alerts when Southwest Local News goes live and alerts when we bring you breaking news. The Fitz Media Live app is also your key to accessing and paying for our 4-wide race night coverage of the Premier Speedway season. You can even use the app to Chromecast and AirPlay hundreds of hours of local content to your smart TV. Keep up to date with what's happening in the Southwest wherever you are. Download the free Fitz Media Live app today.
Welcome to All Seasons Nursery. We stock a wide range of quality plants, decorative pots and garden accessories to suit your garden. Our staff give great advice and have local knowledge to help your garden look its best. Come in for a look. Our prices will slap you in the face.
Get the peace of mind you deserve with SHB's Small Business Advisory. They'll review all aspects of your business to help you achieve your business goals while paying minimal tax. If you're ready to take your business or business idea to the next level, make an appointment with one of their accountants today. And the best part? This service is a flat $300 and is tax deductible with no obligation to be an ongoing client. Call SHB today or book online now.
The Peace of Mind Foundation goes beyond the realms of the hospital. It aims to fill a gap in holistic care, focusing solely on the complexities of brain cancer and how it affects everyone in the family. One of the many unique ways Peace of Mind supports the families in its care is by putting on retreats. Retreats for the whole family, retreats for carers, retreats for men and for women.
And everybody that's there has had something to do with it or been touched by it. Not any sort of cancer, just brain cancer. We could come along and talk to you and talk to this guy over here and that lady over there and you could get some answers, some feedback where we probably wouldn't be able to do that any other way.
There were activities planned and it was all...
Where you could push yourself if you wanted to or just be involved with other people that were doing the same thing, you know, for the same reason.
There was a zip line, there was a bungee jump.
Bungee jump type thing and
Did you do that?
Oh yeah, did it all. Yeah, did it all. Because you had to sort of have a go and make it work for everyone, you know.
I suppose it was a really great opportunity. They had counsellors there and the support was really just, you felt like you'd almost been wrapped in a little bubble and you just had, a tremendous amount of support and people who understood.
I guess the core business of Peace of Mind actually is mostly, the origins are day events or weekend retreats, as we call them, bringing people together and just allowing things to happen. There's not trying to engineer things too specifically where you're trying to put people in therapy. No, it's actually just about connections and people finding their own rhythm and level where they can connect and feel some sense of belonging, not feel so isolated, which is a really big problem, and some understandings as well.
For us, our barriers have been, because the funding is so limited, the awareness is so limited, and finding support networks has been really, really challenging. And finding those networks where people understand specifically the implications of what brain cancer can do, that has been really limited for us. So I suppose when Peace of Mind fell at our feet, it was just what we needed, and continues to be exactly what we need.
Sadly, with a lot of focus being put into the research space and working to find an elusive cure, there is barely any funding outside of grants for important programs like the retreats. For some patients and their families, it's the events like the retreats that are possibly the most important to help alleviate a sense of being alone, but they cost money. Money, a small volunteer-based organisation like Peace of Mind, finds itself almost starved of every year.
It's threadbare. And it's for good reason. It needs big money to make research happen. You know, to get a drug on the market is you know, if not millions, it can be billions of dollars, a single drug from research phase into the market. So it's big biggies. It cannot be otherwise. But geez, just like $100,000 in this space to have such an enormous impact, where it's just like it's not even a consideration in the research space. You know, that's just nothing. The translation of money into alleviation of suffering is a really good. It's a good translation.
It almost needs to be a different type of fundraising tact, because, you know, when you mentioned earlier that it depends whether, you know, we can operate or not, you would look at the balance sheet and go, can we do a retreat this year?
That's where we are this year. Yeah. We've had to actually cut our retreats this year. So normally we do it as a full weekend. It's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we've had to sort of try and recalibrate, and can we do it just as a day thing? And yeah, it's actually been, this year's been really tough. For the retreats that we don't run this year, that means that most likely there's significant chunks of people that will just feel more alone. I would say probably a key part of our understanding is alleviating suffering.
There's got to be more onus on that.
It would be nice if there was. It's not sexy to sell. And even all the treatments are just focused on trying to extend time. At least we got this, is a sense that often happens in the space, because a lot of people just, you know, sort of sit at home kind of a little bit like doom and gloom, and I can't do anything, and I've got no means, and I've got no one encouraging me to or providing me a way that I could be involved.
It's estimated that Peace of Mind needs around $800,000 per year in order to service Australia all year round self-sufficiently. On average, it costs around $25,000 in order to put a retreat on for patients, carers and their families. It's believed at the moment Peace of Mind receives around $70,000 of philanthropic funding each year. That's roughly $730,000 less than what it needs to be able to run self-sufficiently all year to look after its people without reducing important programs.
This guy, Jonathan, comes around probably once a month. And they're not getting funding for this. They're basically doing it on nothing. They've all got this humongous job they're doing with jack shit, you know. The whole thing's pretty amazing, really. They're so dedicated, and you get these guys getting pay rises and that sort of thing. These are the guys that need pay rises. They need a medal, you know. They really do.
Speaking of Colin's mates, I'd like to say thank you for stepping up and making his dream become a reality. When he was no longer well enough to continue the restoration of his prized Chev El Camino ute, that today will carry him on his final journey. Granddaughter Willow, I saw his eyes shine bright when he was with her, and he loved Cohen equally. And so to you, Victoria and Pam, and your extended families, I want to thank you for your unwavering love for Colin and enabling him to stay at home for his last days, which was his wish. You've been amazing. Thank you.
To Pam, for your unwavering support and love and devotion shown to Dad over the last 6 years, and particularly over the last 17 months. But most of all, from the very depth of our hearts, we wish to thank the most wonderful team at the Peace of Mind Foundation, who was such a constant and reassuring guide for us. Dad, what an incredible life you lived, and I hope your cruise to heaven is as good as a burnout in your Monaro, with petrol fumes and headlights guiding your way.
Colin Speedy Hodgson passed away peacefully at home with his loved ones and his beloved car collection close by on Friday, February 24th, 2023, at the age of 66. Jonathan was also there at Speedie's request. In fact, Speedie covered Jonathan's accommodation costs so that he could be there for the vigil and ultimately on his final day. That was almost 3 months ago, and this week Jonathan was back in Warrnambool again to check on Speedie's family.
I keep showing up. I'm willing to be there all the way through and out the other side. And to go and meet Vic today is kind of heartbreaking, but also, oh God, I wouldn't not be there for the world. You know what I mean? That is equally as important from when I started. Focused on Speedie, but then took the whole family into, and now we just keep going. And my hope is that people kind of get back onto their feet. It's that sense of like a parent might have their kids.
Well, it's the parachute thing.
Yeah.
You're there if they need you to be.
Yeah, that's right. And you're actively encouraging them to find their way. Bereavement is
part of the journey, I think
that's really important.
Really important.
Super important. Yeah. And not many people pay attention to it, and they just sort of fob it off at the end. If you're having a complicated bereavement, then you get some specialists involved, but most people are just left to fend for themselves, and it's tough. It's really tough because usually you have a busy period initially, and then everybody sort of goes back to normal, and you don't feel normal, and everyone's behaving normally, but you feel like an alien in there because life's not normal at all for you. It's completely, irrevocably changed. One of the nice things about coming and working in this role is I'm actively seeking to make connections and be affected. Whereas in the past, you kind of got this professional distance that you sort of are encouraged to have, a separation. Overwhelmingly, it's been a good thing for me to be involved in people's lives. I mean, you couldn't help but warm to Speedie, boom, straight up. And he really touched me, and I actively allowed that to happen. And to the family at large. And so that I could go there and share the little victories that were in there. And I mean, right through to the end. That was the beautiful thing. You're talking about Speedie being a larrikin. He was a larrikin right to the end. Toned down a little, but still was very much there. Yeah. And he had his mates out there revving his car outside the window. He's got like 48 hours to live, and they're just like caning it out there. And everyone's having kind of laughter and tears all at once. It's beautiful. It's not so much a game about hope and hopelessness. It's about just staying human in the process and not becoming frozen or medical or a data set. It's about doing the whole business, which we all do every day, which is up and down and successes and losses and wins and defeats, but having the tears and the laughter together right through to the end.
After the break,
it's enormous on one level for a tiny little charity, but There's maybe 2,000 people living with brain cancer in Australia.
Speedie's legacy and how we can help.
If I can do something on a motorsport type level, that would be awesome.
Help peace of mind, help more people like the Hodgsons.
People are going through it today, this year, and certainly for years to come before we're anywhere even close to doing the curative stuff.
When the full story wraps up after the break.
The Flying Horse is more than just a pub. It's the perfect spot to kick back with friends or family, indulge in a delicious meal from the new menu and wood-fired kitchen. Celebrate in one of their multiple function rooms. Catch up with mates in the sports bar or TAB. Grab a slab from the Thirsty Camel bottle shop. There's even a courtesy bus. Plus, don't miss Locals Night every Thursday night with food and drink specials, live music and more. For the perfect venue, it's got to be the Flying Horse, of course.
Fitzmedia's Silver Ball Studios features 2 studios fully equipped for live television and online broadcast. Our team specialise in television commercials, corporate video, live streaming and audio-visual solutions. Silver Ball Studios is the home of Fitzmedia Live, the Southwest's first online TV station, producing Southwest local news, 4Wide and other local programs. Fitzmedia Live's local programs also provide another option for businesses to advertise on. Download the Fitzmedia Live app today.
Come on, Talent Dodger. Come on. Get up there. Yes, Talent Dodger. Go. No.
Kerman's fixes everything. Back a winner this May with Kerman's Hamburgers.
Get the peace of mind you deserve with SHB's Small Business Advisory. They'll review all aspects of your business to help you achieve your business goals while paying minimal tax. If you're ready to take your business or business idea to the next level, make an appointment with one of their accountants today. And the best part? This service is a flat $300 and is tax deductible with no obligation to be an ongoing client. Call SHB today or book online now.
If you've been injured, make the call. Find out if you have a claim. Madden's Lawyers is the region's most experienced injury compensation firm. Madden's Lawyers. Make the call.
The Peace of Mind Foundation has been operating since 2015 and was established in honour of Caroline Marie Matthews, a wife, mother, sister and daughter who lost her battle with brain cancer in 2011. After her family realised how little resources there were with information and even funding, the foundation launched with a focus on fixing it.
There's maybe 2,000 people diagnosed or living with brain cancer in Australia, and so that's actually not a massive goal, but Australia's a big country. And having people on the ground is very difficult, but at least having some level of education, navigation, and someone on the end of the phone to kind of go, really, this is what you need to do next, and I'll help you get there. We've found already it's just to be immense, yeah. Just the level of people coming into the process of getting a diagnosis, feeling completely shell-shocked, alone, and floundering amongst it all and not sure which way to kind of go with it. You've got usually very good clinical teams, but the rest of life is just left, just dormant over here. To get people in beside you there to kind of work through that stuff has been really impactful.
It started in Geelong and has since spread right around Australia, and it's estimated that over 700 people have been directly impacted by the foundation in just a few short years. It's an amazing effort for an extremely small service with a lot of volunteers and a handful of paid employees, one of which is Australia's only brain cancer support worker, Jonathan Muller, whose role has been graciously funded by the Hospice Foundation in Geelong.
It's actually about people connecting and being supported in whatever way that they need. It used to be just Geelong specific, and now it's spreading. And obviously in my role, I cover Geelong, Bellarine, and now down along the coast here, down to the border. But we have workers now that are operating nationally. And their role is to connect people in with government services, NDIS, disability support services, Carer Gateway, etc. So all that kind of governmental support that people are entitled to, making sure they get the benefits.
While brain cancer is rare, it is the most deadly form of cancer, with the 5-year survival rate just over 22%, and families faced with diagnosis need help navigating the complex road ahead. Families like the Hodgsons, who recently lost a loving partner, father and grandfather to the disease. But speaking before he passed away, Speedie and daughter Victoria made a conscious decision to speak about the impact the Peace of Mind Foundation had on their journey, in the hope more people know about it and, importantly, can help raise money.
Dad sort of came home late in the afternoon, we all had dinner together, and I suppose it was kind of just trying to find a new normal.
Where do we go from here? What's the results going to be like? What's even to the point of what pain I was going to go through.
I suppose that's where Peace of Mind have come in. They've been able to sort of be our parachute anytime we feel we need them. They're always there. We're able to phone them, and no question is too morbid or no question is silly.
Particularly when you go to Melbourne and you're a nobody, and then you've got all this personal care and dedication. It's just so amazing. I wouldn't have been able to do it without Vic and Brad and Pam and our. It's become a big extended family now, and without any of that support, don't know where we'd be.
It frustrated Speedie that such an amazing organisation was vastly underfunded, and he often thought of ways he and his family's story could help attract funding so the program can continue. And this interview prior to his death was the first step in making sure something is done to help the Peace of Mind Foundation continue its operation.
There's so many cancers out there, and yet brain cancer seems to be one of the major ones. Very little done about it because of money and so forth, and it's a bit like having a hands tied. You can't do anything about it. But by doing this, we can make more awareness of it, And this guy, Jonathan, he's there to say, okay, this is happening. The outcome of this could be this or this, and he's able to guide you. He comes around probably once a month, and they're not getting funding for this, and that's the hard part, because they've all got this humongous job they're doing with jack shit, If I can do something on a motorsport type level close to my heart, we could get support like that, donations and that sort of thing, I suppose, because it's so complex. That would be awesome.
The Peace of Mind Foundation isn't a health service, nor does it want to become one. It wants to have more of a people focus and mostly relies on donations from families to continue its work. Sadly, this year has been extremely tough for the organisation, with finances so low that they had to reduce the number of retreats it runs to help partners, families and carers live life to the fullest and enjoy the limited time they have left together.
Yeah, importantly, we're putting on the men's retreat this year.
Good.
Yeah, so that's awesome, but we've had to kind of amalgamate
Yes.
some of the others just into one day.
Pivot, to use a COVID term. That's the way. Everyone uses pivots.
Yeah. So, but it breaks our heart, because we know that won't have the same impact that lasts through the remaining days, and also at the other end, as it is for Vic, knowing that Speedie got to be part of that.
Yeah.
So that it really runs for not only months, but into years, the impacts of these things. So, yep.
And ideally, you mentioned the men's retreat, but how many would you like to have per year? You've obviously got a men's retreat, you've got different types of, different versions of it. How many do you aim to try and do?
Ideally, the aim is to have a men's, a women's, a families, and a bereaved carers.
Okay.
And so that's a sort of $100,000 kind of budget.
Bereaved carers like Vic.
Exactly right.
What the foundation needs is for the community to hold more fundraisers and more philanthropic support, because out of the minimum $300,000 per year it needs to keep up with its current demand, it only reaches $70,000 of that amount.
It's difficult as a stressor upon us, okay, can we do what we do? But well, certainly for me and for the organisation, it's really, geez, that people miss out. People miss out on that sense of connection, and our understanding is alleviating suffering. Yeah, and that's what the whole research game is. Yeah, let's find a cure so people don't have to go through this. But people are going through it.
Every day.
Today, this year, and certainly for years to come before we're anywhere even close to doing the curative stuff. And so it is, it's that here and now. And I guess probably one of the strengths also in our space is like, what's to be done when there's nothing further to be done? The clinical team goes, I'm sorry, we're out of options. What happens then? And that's a difficult space for humans to step into, certainly clinicians to step. We can't fix it, I don't know what to do then, like this. And that's probably where we step forward. Everyone kind of goes, oh, we're out of options. And then we step in and go, yeah, there's still plenty to be done. Still plenty of living to be done, and still, there's still meaning. There's a life to be lived here. There's love, there's family connections, there's social connections. You can still get out and do things with limitations, but life's still worth living.
One of many important parts of the Peace of Mind Foundation is that it helps families like the Hodgsons have some really difficult conversations and get as prepared as they can before the inevitable that comes with a brain cancer diagnosis, so they can continue to live life as normally as possible, remaining human in an otherwise clinical world.
As a family, we've definitely got closer. When we were open.
Absolutely.
And I suppose we've got plans in place to deal with it, I suppose.
And a purpose to make the days count.
Yeah.
The Hodgsons aren't the last, and certainly weren't the first family to go through a brain cancer journey. And now they want to make sure that people know that it's okay to ask for help. And importantly, there is help available.
Accept the help.
Yeah, accept the help and look after your family. Talk to your family.
Take the support, and don't be afraid to reach out to organisations and to people to find answers and to find satisfaction. And I think making time to plan and I suppose just enjoy the moment. Yeah.
Now it's up to us to help fulfil Speedie's legacy and help make sure this organisation continues to evolve to the point where it can have more than one Jonathan and more of an impact across the country.
Peace of Mind Foundation, you just type that in and it's quite clearly at the top there, donate now. If you know someone with brain cancer, you can actually kind of create a little page that's a support page specifically for that person. A cause is one thing, but a person, that's an entirely different thing. So that if you know someone, you can go onto the website and actually create a page, the Speedie page. Let's put some money behind Speedie, and you can allocate, to what it goes to as well. It can be for the brain cancer support worker, it's from the advocate team, it's for the retreats that we run. You can be specific about where the money goes. But yeah, it's very easy just to log into the website and donate immediately, or set up something that's a bit more bigger than a single donation.
We can help Speedie's legacy right now by donating to his personal fundraising page, which was established by his family prior to his passing. And if you would like some motivation, it's only fair that we leave the last words of the program to the man himself.
Probably don't be complacent with life, I suppose, because anything can happen. If the cards are dealt somehow like this to them, just push hard and push through, you know, because if you don't push through and you sit in the corner, no one's going to gain, you know. Pick out the positives, do what you do best, find a release, and look after your family.
I'm Liam Fitzgerald, and that was the full story.